Speech impediment. Speech and language impediment is a very broad term that refers to a communication disorder in an individual that has depressed social language communication, hearing, or fluency skills. A speech impediment relates to the way an individual produces or articulates specific sounds. One example of this is stuttering. Under the umbrella of speech impairment lies several different types of disorders in which a child or an adult can be diagnosed. Before going any further, make sure to like, subscribe, and press the bell icon. Apraxia of speech. Apraxia of speech is a neurological communication disorder that involves the planning system for speech. Individuals with apraxia know what they want to say, but there's a disconnect in the part of the brain that tells a specific muscle to move. When someone is diagnosed with apraxia of speech, they may have signs of groping, which is where the mouth searches for the position to create the sound. When this occurs, it affects how long or short the sounds are and could lead to odd pitches or volume issues into sounds being distorted or substituted. A telltale sign of someone who has a practice here is they lose the ability to produce a sound they previously could say. For instance, if you could ask a child to say dog, which they do successfully, and then ask them to say which they say the word 10 minutes later, they may not be able to do so. To speech or sound disorder, speech may have two varieties: articulation or phonological processes, and articulation disorder may take the form of substitution, omission, addition, or distortion of normal speech. Sounds fun? A logical process disorder may involve more systematic difficulties in the production of particular types of sound, those made in the back of the mouth like K and G. Educating a child on the appropriate way to produce a sound speech, encouraging the child to practice this articulation over the time, may produce natural speech. 3. Stuttering. Stuttering is a disruption of fluency of a child's individual speech, which begins in childhood, may persist over a lifetime. Stuttering is a form of disfluency in the ability to produce fluent speech. This fluency became a part of a problem because it impairs the successful communication between two people. Disfluency may be due to unwanted repetition of sound or the extension of speech, sound syllabus, or words. Disfluency also incorporates unintentional pauses in speech which the individual is unable to produce speech sounds. Unfortunately, the cause of stuttering is unknown, which makes it difficult to treat. Treatment can vary from person to person depending on the severity and the types of stuttering that is occurring for specific language impediment. Specific learning impairment is diagnosed when a child's language is not developing as rapidly or typically as other children. In order for a child to be diagnosed with specific learning impairment, they cannot be autism, spectrum disorder, apraxia, hearing loss, or an abnormality of speech mechanism. If these disorders are present, they do not have specific learning impairment and exhibiting speech patterns that they diagnoses. Usually the first indication of speech learning impairment is that the child is later than usual speaking and is delaying putting words together to form sentences. Spoken language may be immature, as many children with specific learning impairment, understanding of language, or receptive language is also impaired. Though this may not be obvious unless the child is given a formal assessment. This diagnosis is reserved for children whose language difficulties persist from school age, not only for children who have specific delayed or eventually catch up with their peers. 5. Aphasia. Aphasia is an inability to comprehend or formulate language because of the damage to specific brain regions. This causes cerebral vascular accident, head trauma, or aphasia can also be a result of brain tumors, infection, neurodegenerative diseases, or dementia. Difficulty in people with aphasia can range in occasional trouble in finding words to occasionally losing the ability to speak right. Intelligence is, however, unaffected. Any person of any age can develop aphasia, given that it is often caused by a traumatic injury. However, people who are in the middle-aged or older are the most likely to experience problem. 6. Language learning disabilities. Language-based learning disabilities can occur in children who are falling behind their same age peers. These children will have difficulties with spelling, reading, or writing, but have normal intelligence levels. This is a common source for academic struggles in young children and can often be misdiagnosed or missed as typical assessments. The key to supporting students who are labeled is known how to adjust curriculum and instructions to ensure they develop proficient language and literacy skills. Most individuals with LBL need instructions that are specific, explicit, structured, and multisensory, as well as ongoing guided practices aimed at remedying their specific areas of weakness. If you like your child is exhibiting any signs or symptoms of this disorder, it is important that you make an appointment with a speech language pathologist as soon as possible to get a full evaluation. If you come across any of the speech impediment, make sure you share it in the comment section below.